Back, everybody, to SPANK'UM Chess. I am B Hood, and today we're going to be talking about another instance where I play one of my fellow friends on chess.com using the Caro-Kahn Fantasy Variation. So before we get into this video, I'd like you to hit that like button, pound that subscribe bell, and leave a comment. And let's get to it. So the game starts out, and I'm playing from the white side of the board. The game starts out with, I play e4. My opponent plays c6. This is the start of the Caro-Kahn defense. So I go d4, and my opponent plays d5. So now with this variation where I go f3, and my opponent goes queen to b6. So with that, I was still kind of lost in the woods. I said, well, okay, I see that he's bringing his queen out, and I just said, okay, Daniel always recommended, and I also recommend is to advance your pieces. So I go knight to c3, and my opponent goes e5. So now you can see this nice little block of these pawns right here. And that can lead to, if done right, that can lead to what they would call an isolated queen pawn structure. Knight g to e2. So now I'm just protecting the pawn on d4. E captures d4. I capture with the knight. So I capture with the knight, and he goes bishop to c5. So now he's threatening the knight. He's threatening the knight, and I said, okay, I'm looking for the different things. I thought about going I have knight c to e2, but I know that that's going to come with the check. But I also have this move here. Boom. Let me attack his queen. Knight to a4. So I'm attacking the queen, attacking the bishop, and I'm also protecting the pawn here. And he doesn't have time to capture my knight on d4. So he goes queen to a5, which I anticipated, ladies and gentlemen. I anticipated that.
Yes. You know what it is, don't you, boy?
So now I parlay it very easily with c3. So now I've bolstered my center. I'm also able, my pieces are going to be very active very soon. So he goes bishop to e7. So now he go ahead and drops the bishop back, which gives me another chance to advance the move to just threaten his queen to back her all the way up, which is b4. Let me get at that queen. So he chooses to sacrifice, do an exchange sacrifice with bishop captures on b4. I capture back, and now he gets the check. So what he was probably hoping was that I'm either going to go bishop to d2, bishop to e2, bring my queen up. But instead, I said, man, let me go king to f2. And as you can see in the evaluation bar, with that last move that he made, he has put himself in a very compromised position here. I have a distinct advantage, as you can see on the left side of the board here. My evaluation of my advantage is going way up. D captures on e5, e4. So now I bring my bishop up. Now I'm threatening to cause him to have a double pawn. My knights are protected both very well by my queen, and I can easily slide rook to b1 to cause more pressure on his queen.
It's a stripping game, partner.
He goes knight to e7, so he doesn't want to get the double pawn, and he's preparing the castle. So this is the perfect time to attack. So let me put some pressure on his queen. Rook to b1. Now look, he can drop the queen back to e3, and then I'm just going to advance and get my rook to the center of the board onto e1 and get my king in the background.
Therefore, shut up, don't say that, don't speak to me, don't look at me.
Let's see what he chooses to do. He chooses to go queen to a3. So he's trying to get this cheap little tactic right here where he's going to try to go for the a2 and get a check. However, this is where he makes his mistake. Bishop to c4. So now with that bishop to c4 move has a double meaning. Now I could be attacking the pawn on f7. I'm also looking to swing my rook to f1 and eventually attacking this loose pawn on e4. Now this is where he should have castled. The top engine move here is for him to castle. But seeing as though he's trying to look for a cheap tactic where he sees my bishop and my knight on the same file right next to each other, and he's looking to probably push forward, which is what he does. But I noticed something. He goes b4. Now,
Throw a pretty mean punch, boy.
Now, if you look very closely, his queen is restricted. His queen only has one safe square if I can get an attack on the queen. One safe square, and that is here. He doesn't have any other safe squares. So I calculated, if you can look, I can win a queen. I can win his queen. How so, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'm about to show you. Boom.
Old Sarge is here to kick your ass.
Boom. Knight captures on b4. That is a straight up sacrifice. Knight sacrifice. Knight captures on b4, threatening his queen. Now as you look, now all of these squares are mine. The rook is sitting here. My knight is covering this square. My queen is covering this square. He can't move. He can't move this. He can't capture here because the bishop's covering, and he has no real safe squares to go. He has no real safe squares to go. So what does he do? He captures. C captures on b4, and now here comes the move of the day.
Here's Johnny.
Pow! Bishop back to c1. Now his queen has nowhere to go. He has a couple of prophylactic moves. He could try to get his king out of the way, but it just will not work, ladies and gentlemen. It just will not work. So he tries a cheap move, e3 check, and instead I say, okay, I want to make sure he can't get another check anywhere. Boom. King back to e1. So
now I run every kind of bitch, every kind of place, and I know one thing.
So now the queen is gone. He's looking, he's trying to scramble. He could try e2, but bishop takes, b5 check is looming, and he's still gonna lose the piece. He's still gonna lose the piece and roughly damn near get checkmated. So let's see here. What does he do? He captures the knight on a4, but seeing as though the rook here is protecting that, and that comes with a check, and he loses the queen. Bam! Bishop captures on b4 check. He captures back with the queen. I capture back with the rook. So now, as you can see, we have the same amount of pawns. He has an isolated pawn on e3. I can't castle. I've lost the castle right, but he still needs to think about trying to castle. So his knight is sitting up here about to get sucked into the game. There's a lot that's going on here. So let's see what he chooses to do. He chooses to go e2, threatening my queen. I'll go ahead and capture back. And now he goes knight to c6. The knight to c6 move is now protecting his rook. Protecting his knight on the e7 square. Let me move my rook out of the way. That comes with tempo, ladies and gentlemen. We can't have that. I lose the rook. So instead, I go rook to c5, getting my rook onto a safe square, dark colored square, and he can't be attacked immediately. So now he chooses the castle. So I have to be very careful because my queen and king are lined up, and I do not want to lose the queen. That's the main piece of the game, even though I have an advantage, but it can change very quickly. Queen to e4. So now I'm pressurizing the knight, possibly can go 2 for 1. So now he goes bishop to e6, defending the knight, and I easily just slide my king out of the way to a nice safe square on f2. Boom. Rook A to c8. Rook A to c8. So now he's protecting the knight. He's seeing that he wants to be able to eventually be able to move something out of the way, and he's eyeing the pawn on a2. So now I double it up. I swing my rook on h, bring my rook to e1. So now I'm doubling up, and I'm eventually going to be swinging the rook on c4 over to the h file and just bum rush the whole side. There, I believe, was one of his errors right there.
Who gives a fuck what you think?
He goes rook to back to b7, b8. So instead of going rook capture c8, no, I go bishop to a3. So now I got all my pieces in the game. And I have a nice little tactic here looming. If he doesn't play accurately, I'm going to capture his rook on c8, and then capture the other rook or the knight on e7. So he goes knight e to c6. So with that, there's a nice little tactic here yet again.
Say what?
Boom, let me capture that. He captures back. Now I get the rook on f8. And so he captures back, and here my opponent flags over here. This was a very instructive game. And yes, I will say I have gotten some success out of the Caro-Kahn Fantasy Variation, which was recommended by GM Daniel Naroditsky. And I recommend you guys give it a shot as well. So until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and even share this video. And I'll catch you next time when I give you another example of Whack the Sicilian while I'm using the Alapin. Another recommendation by Daniel Naroditsky. So until then, this is SPANK'UM Chess. I am B Hood. And I'm out. Peace. Hi, y'all. Here we go again. Dynamic and tactical game. A3. And now, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to Spank Chess. I am B here.